Oh, hi, podcast listeners. There's many ways you can listen to the Real Nerds podcast. You can subscribe on iTunes. You can also subscribe on Stitcher Radio. You want to send us a Twitter message? You can do that. It's so easy, at Real Nerds. Like us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. You can visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com, where there'll be a lot of articles for you to not only read, but to listen to our previous shows. Do you like your stories told through pictures? Then you can also follow us at Real Nerds on Instagram. You can also call us, 720-6nerds5. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
This is Real Nerds Podcast, and for 10 years, we've been podcasting our experience to the world. This week, we saw In the Heights, and joining me is...
Corinne! And Corinne!
Way to time that together, guys.
And the rest.
I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, Ryan didn't see the movie in time, so he's taking the week off, and everyone else is... not here as usual. So yeah, I've just got Zach and Corinne. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. Getting a short film production underway. So it's amazing that I've had time to do anything.
I'm doing all right. Just eating dinner after playing a doubleheader in volleyball when we lost both games.
Got her heel.
Yep,
cool.
Exactly.
Well, we will do as much of the show without you to begin with, starting with what's going on around town.
Hey, film buddies, follow me around Denver.
Brad, what is going on around town?
Yeah, that's my segment. The Holiday Twin Drive-In has a different lineup. On screen 1, they have Peter Rabbit 2 and Cruella. And screen 2, they have In the Heights and The Conjuring 3. That's up in Fort Collins, holidaytwin.com if you want to. They kind of have a daily schedule, so once in a while they'll throw a custom programming thing in there. So check out the website to keep up with it. And then the 88 Drive-In has a new lineup of Peter Rabbit 2, and then A Quiet Place 2, and World War Z is still up there. So. What?
Going from Peter Rabbit 2 into A Quiet Place 2.
Oh, it was Sonic the Hedgehog last week.
No, I know. I'm not questioning. I know what they've got to do to program. It's just an interesting like step into darkness straight out of Peter Rabbit 2, going in right into A Quiet Place 2.
Yeah.
But at least it's not rated R, I guess. I guess that would be a much more abrasive. Like if you were going to go like into Hostel right after Peter Rabbit 2, that would be quite a jump.
Yeah, hopefully the kids are asleep by then. And not like me, who stayed awake to watch The Sixth Sense and what's the shark movie? Deep Blue Sea. Because I remember that's how I saw them, was at the drive-thru, and I stayed up. And my parents were like, "Oh, go to sleep." And I'm like, "Okay, I will." As I'm peeking around. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch Sam Jackson get eaten by a shark."
If knowing your particular tendency with horror, it would make sense that would be a rather unnerving double bill. Because Deep Blue Sea should be fun, but I could see that.
I don't remember if that was exactly it, but I just remember that's how I saw both of them, was at the drive-in, not necessarily at the same time.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool experience at the drive-in. Actually, now that I think of it, Brad, A Quiet Place Part 2 might be really cool at a drive-in, because when it gets quiet, you're sitting out in your car alone.
Well,
during the quiet moments, it might lurk around you, feel creepy.
I'll be able to let you know, because that's part of what I've been watching when we get to it. So
sweet.
And then the Denver Film Society is doing their Film on the Rocks, which I won't be going to because it's $60 per carload. But I will say that you should check out denverfilm.org to check out their lineup. And the most recent thing is Do the Right Thing on Wednesday, June 16th.
Ooh, Fight the Power. Dance!
That's a screening in the parking lot with one of their pop-up screens. They had GoldenEye on Sunday, which I really wish I could have gone to see. But and then Legally Blonde on Thursday, and Raiders of the Lost Ark on Friday.
Oh, really cool. So they're not doing it at Red Rocks anymore? They're just doing a pop-up thing, or?
Well, it's at Red Rocks in the parking lot,
Oh, okay.
but only 3 movies are in the actual amphitheater. And those are in July: Casino Royale, Jurassic Park, and The Princess Bride. In August, actually, but
Okay.
um,
Those are solid choices, I guess.
and those are actually
Princess Bride would be a very fun one to see with a bunch of people.
yeah. Apparently, the amphitheater movies, those are $16 general admission, so a lot more affordable than the carload. And you can do $32 for VIP seats, whatever that is.
You get
So,
the
I'm
you
guessing
get to-
that's pretty close to the stage.
yeah.
Because, I mean, at a certain, if I remember right, because I went to Film on the Rocks for The Last Jedi, after a certain point, I want to say about halfway up the amphitheater, you can't see the entire screen because there's like that covering that covers part of the screen. So, based on where you're sitting, you can't see the entire movie.
Yeah. But yeah, both those options are still less expensive than the parking lot drive-in, so I might try to do one of those. Anyway,
Very cool.
yeah, just go to
Or you
Denver
just
Film.
get 5 friends and go to the parking lot.
5 friends
Well,
Brad, you have
all in the
more
same
than
place
5
at the
friends.
same time.
Brad, stop it. You have more
there's
than
6 of
5
us
friends.
nerds. Why couldn't we all 6 go to it? Well, I guess Henry.
Again,
how are we
again.
going to coordinate schedules, Corinne? That's an impossible endeavor these days.
Yeah, my linchpin was all in the same place at the same time. Yeah.
You have to come up with an elaborate scheme to trick us all to be there, Brad.
Well,
Like some kind of.
Whenever we do our 10th anniversary thing, we'll just go to Film on the Rocks right after. Boom.
Yeah, 10th anniversary is probably the first week of August, so that would be The Princess Bride.
Well, as you wish.
Yeah, that's what's going on around town.
Sweet.
Zach, what's happening in movie news?
It's real news.
Okie dokie. I wasn't here last week, so stop me if you already talked about something. Did you know we're getting a Fletch reboot?
I mean, they've been talking about this for years.
Yeah, well, I guess it's now finally happening because they started showing some screenshots.
I mean,
And
they've
there
been
are
saying
two.
that for years.
What if I told you that we will be having Greg Mottola at the helm, and we will have John Hamm playing the role of Fletch. That sounds like a fun time.
That's cool.
Right.
I like ham.
But do you like Bacon? What if Bacon and Ham were in a movie together?
If Kevin Bacon was whatever, I don't know. I've never seen the original Fletch. If there's like a person villain, then that would be amazing.
Ooh.
If it was Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, and then you have Bacon Ham on the poster. That'd be dope.
Mr. Bean somewhere in there for beans.
Yeah, that'd be ooh. I'd be down with that. Did you? By the way, Brad, you said you've never seen the first Fletch.
I've never seen any Fletch.
Ooh, give the first one a try. It's good. Fletch
than-
Lives, not so much.
Other than the the Moon River clip that people reference all the time.
Oh, it's much more than that clip. It's a good movie. It's a good Chevy Chase movie. Again, the sequel not so much. But yeah, we will be getting a new iteration of Fletch called Confess Fletch. It's going to be based on the second book in Gregory MacDonald's 11 novel series featuring Fletch.
I always wanted to see Kevin Smith's Fletch with Jason Lee as, I guess, Fletch.
That would have been amazing. And I mean, if somehow this one gets canceled and his gets rebooted, we'll either way we're getting Fletch. So I mean, I'm excited for it. I mean, they Zach Braff tried to redo it at one point too. So this is everybody's tried to bring back this concept. I'm curious to see what Ham will do because if it feels like you have to completely you just have to embrace your own particular version of it because Chevy Chase is bringing something very specific to his talents to it. I mean, I've never read a Fletch novel, but if I'm going off of just the movie that he did, it seems like Ham's going to have to do something a little bit different to make it stand out. But anywho, check out Fletch when it comes out. directed by Greg Mottola. We're getting an animated Lord of the Rings companion piece called The War of Rohirrim, which will be telling the story behind the Fortress of Helm's Deep. Going to be directed by Kenji Kamiyama, who did Blade Runner Black Locust and Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. It will be lined up alongside as a companion piece to the official Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings iterations. And Philippa Boyens is serving as a consultant on the project. She was one of the key screenwriters behind the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit trilogies. So that'd be cool. I'm curious to see how that plays out. And I'm glad that they're distinguishing that this is not related to the Amazon thing that they're doing, that's going on. So they're keeping it within that particular sphere that they've created for themselves. Let's see. Brad, did you ever, I cannot remember because it has been that long and a pandemic came in between that kind of time, but did you have MoviePass?
I did briefly, yes.
Yeah, and Corinne, you had MoviePass too, didn't you?
I did.
Did you know that it's been now confirmed by the Federal Trade Commission that they were intentionally making sure that you didn't see movies?
No, I mean, I remember when I was trying to see, what was that one Mission Impossible movie? Fallout? I don't remember. One of them. That I think they had like just changed because it was like the first big movie of the summer or something. And they changed the thing so that it's like, oh, you had to go there ahead of time or you had to get the tickets the day of or something like that they changed it. And I remember I had to like pay for my own ticket to that movie. I couldn't do it under MoviePass. And I was really pissed off about it.
So via Slash Film, they lifted up a piece from Mashable that said that the FTC press release revealed that MoviePass went to great lengths to deny consumers access to the service they paid for while also failing to secure their personal information, which means some of your personal information would have been at risk. One of the ways they did in order to quell the sales of their movie tickets was invalidating user passwords and claiming that fraud was detected on customer accounts. And it wasn't isolated because it was estimated that 75,000 users had this practice used on them. Another method of stopping it was MoviePass had a ticket verification program. When MoviePass only allowed customers to see a movie one time in theaters, they required a customer to send an image of their ticket to verify the purchase. But the system didn't work properly, and it caused thousands of subscribers to lose access to the service. And what's more, they also blocked power users from using the service. Customers who saw more than 3 movies per month, contributing to the company's lack of profit, were locked out of the service when they became too costly to the company. A whole ton of shit going on here. FTC also confirms that.
Oh my god! You gotta read the whole article.
I want to go through this because I'm fascinated by how deep this goes. They were storing consumer data such as financial information and email addresses in plain text rather than keeping it encrypted and limiting access to those details. So they violated a shit ton of acts. And I know that there's a documentary coming up about it within the realm of Mark Wahlberg producing, I believe, because I think it's the same team that did McMillions. If I'm wrong about that, please correct me out there in Real Nerds Land. But I find that interesting because it was technically the thing that got the theaters to finally start pushing their own subscription programs, was MoviePass basically being a craw on their side because AMC was already planning to launch one before MoviePass decided to sweep in and be the first. And the first business model to do this was one that just like absolutely fucked it up. So I don't know how to read it. I'm very glad now that I never did MoviePass because that would be crazy to have all that shit start happening.
Yeah, I never even got my card, so.
But they never locked you out or anything? Like, you never even got to use it then, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I never even got to start it. Like, I signed up for it and then just nothing.
Jeez.
Couldn't get the card, so I couldn't do anything with it. And then I canceled, and that was that. They didn't even fight me on it. You
I
know,
never had any problems with it other than, like I said, that one time trying to see Mission Impossible. I mean, I don't know. It's been, what, 2-3 years now? I can't
Yeah.
even remember.
Yeah.
Years now.
2019 is when they officially folded as a company, and within 2019 up into 2021, within that 2-year span, is when the FTC has started investigating them as well as other independent agencies. So this is all fucking crazy, but I'm going to stay tuned for more developments on this. Meanwhile, let's take us to something positive. Disney Plus is bringing us a new series called Behind the Attraction, coming on July 16th. It's from the guys who did The Toys That Made Us, Danny Garcia and Brian Volksweiss. And it will be taking you on tours and the histories behind the different theme park attractions in Disneyland. From the press release, it delves into Disney Parks' rich, amazing history using archival and never-before-seen footage and photographs to unveil the attractions and that came to be and how they've refined over the years as new ideas surface and technology evolves. I like this idea because when Pirates of the Caribbean came out on DVD, they did had a bit of extensive information on the park itself, on the park ride itself. But I want to know more about the formation of something like the Country Bears or fucking Tomorrowland, and like those different elements of the park that have such a legacy attached to them. But it's just kind of, we take it for granted that it's there. I mean, it's a small world after all. I really want to know if there's like a bigger story behind that than just, the multinational cooperation it's exuding in there, which is cool, even though that song is, obviously an earworm that gets stuck in your head. So yeah, look for that series on Disney Plus, coming to you July 16th in conjunction with the release of Jungle Cruise. I'll end with 2 more stories. 2 sad and 1 glad. Sorry, so 3 stories. First of all, we've had 2 deaths. Ned Beatty from Superman Network, and also known for playing the most malevolent teddy bear in animation history, Lotso the Bear, passed away at the age of 83. Quite a career. He's Luthor's sidekick in Superman, but I don't remember that sidekick's name, Brad. What is it?
Otis.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, long legendary character actor. Was a key player in the very horrific scene in Deliverance, which, if anybody's seen Deliverance, you know what I'm talking about. It's creepy as shit. And then in Nashville, he's a lawyer with no patience for deaf children. And he's also a reporter in All the President's Men. Also appeared in a lot of TV, such as Gunsmoke, The Rockford Files, Hawaii Five-0. But I think, I got to be frank, my favorite performance of his is either coming from Network or it's Toy Story 3, because Toy Story 3, that Lotso bear is the scariest monster in Toy Story history. Like, I find him more malevolent than even a Stinky Pete. Like, that bear was willing to die for his cause. It's insane. Does anybody have any Ned Beatty memories?
Nope.
I saw him in those movies.
Okay, cool. Right on. Well, Ned Beatty, you'll be missed. Also, there was a death within the realm of stuff that I've done outside the show, is that Joan Benny passed away, the daughter of Jack Benny, who was also a film historian and film lecturer across the country within the 80s and the 90s. She died of pancreatic cancer over the weekend. So shout out to her family and to the fans of the Benny fan club who have started to listen as a result of that convention. Joan will be very missed. She was a very important part of that community. It's been a sad 48 hours hearing that news. But I'll end this on a good piece of news. It has been reported by major outlets, including Deadline, that one of the greatest podcasts in history will be getting a movie production deal. New Republic Pictures and Laida Kalogridis, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, has picked up the Secret History of Hollywood podcast and its entire library to produce as either motion pictures and or television series. starting with Shadows, which will be telling the story of Val Lewton. The creator of these podcasts, Adam Roach, has been on The Shanley Silhouette. He is a superb first person, and that show that he has produced over the past couple of years is incredible. So this will be interesting to see them finally telling the story of Val Lewton, because he's known within film fan communities, but his story up until Adam's show had not been really told in detail the way Adam went into it. But there will also be there's also other stories that he's told over the course of his podcasting career that will be interesting to see come to light. So congratulations, Adam. Cannot wait to see what comes of this. And
what the hell? Where's our show?
What did you? I've
We
told
have
you
500 episodes that they can use.
that. Brad, how many times have we talked about Pod Show Season 2? And I've asked, hey, do you want help writing this script?
No, that's us making it. I want Hollywood to bankroll it like they're bankrolling The Secret History of Hollywood. Then people will show up and actually do it. Because everyone will get paid to do it.
I have no problem showing up. You tell me when to show up. I'll come over there. We'll sit down and we'll make this thing, even if it's with sock puppets.
The show isn't just you, Zach.
I can do a Ryan impression. Hey guys, what's up?
You can do it, but it's not too good.
It's not the same. I know. I'm aware of that. No, this is good news though. This is like, I mean, but put aside podcasting for a second. This is really cool to start seeing some Hollywood figures who haven't had their stories told get some form of coverage, and you can start seeing the deep histories of Hollywood on a mass scale, and it doesn't have to just be within the podcasting world. And that's something that the show has created. So this is like a good step for Hollywood history and film history in general. So, but if you're talking about the Real Nerds podcast, the movie, I've always told you it needs to be a road show. It needs to be a road trip movie. So, or, stay tuned for Pod Show Season 2.
I don't care what it is. We have a ton of episodes. They should be mining us, paying us to do it.
What would the plot be for the Real Nerds podcast movie?
What's the plot for the Secret History of Hollywood movie?
It's telling the very rich and detailed history of Val Lewton, one of the mega producers within the low budget B unit at RKO that produced such classics as Curse of the Cat People, The Body Snatcher, Bedlam, Isle of the Dead, and a slew ton of others.
Yeah,
Have we done any of that?
But you can do that in audio. What are they going to do for the video version? Just
They're
reenactments like Unsolved Mysteries?
No, I would think if anything, they're going to tell the story of Val Lewton with skilled filmmakers behind the camera.
So shouldn't that just be like the estate of Val Lewton getting to make a movie? Seems like Secret History of Hollywood's a middleman now.
I think that Val Lewton's story had been largely forgotten until Adam got a hold of it and decided, you know what, I'm going to tell Val Lewton's story. And that's how that happens.
Well, I'm going to start telling the story of some other person who history has forgotten, and I will be hugely successful.
Is his name Ryan Frost? History forgot Ryan Frost long ago.
What was forgotten
actually,
in the
James.
news? Yeah, he's. What was really forgotten in the news was there's a Rocky IV director's cut, has a release date and a poster reveal.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't know if you guys have already talked about that last week and whatnot. So, what are they adding to this? How much footage?
I don't think they're adding to it. I think Sylvester Stallone just took the robot scene out. And because that for some reason that was everyone's hang up with that movie, which is already super short.
But wait a minute, didn't he directed it the first time? I would have to assume he would have had complete control, given that he was one of the biggest stars of the planet, that he would have had directorial control over Rocky IV.
Yeah, but in 1985, having a robot butler was super cool and not cheesy at all.
But you can't change your mind once you've put the robot butler in your movie, Brad. That's you can't renege on that.
You can if you're the director of the movie and 35 years later you're trying to celebrate it and find weird ways to convince people to see it.
Well, then,
Again.
so then feasibly, it's okay for George Lucas to alter Star Wars then.
I mean, he did it.
Yeah, he
And He's
did.
still doing it.
But
So
not anymore. Technically, no.
what?
Technically, George Lucas isn't doing that anymore. But
Oh no, my friend. The recent Blu-rays that came out, that big set, they
Uh-huh.
still changed shit in it.
Okay.
Yeah, go online. It's the subtle, most inconsequential stuff that they're still tinkering with. So, and I doubt that Kathleen Kennedy did it on her own. So,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, what's wrong with the robot? Isn't the robot fun? Isn't that kind of like part of the campy, cheesy fun of Rocky IV? Like
No.
the whole movie's a 95-minute montage.
the director's cut will be slightly different from the original. Stallone has said it will feature new footage of the Apollo versus Drago fight, and Polly's robot will be omitted. While this part of the film is very 80s and completely ridiculous. Sorry, I just ended up reading the actual author's words. So yeah, that's it. That's the information.
Okay, fair enough.
That's it. So yeah, extended fight scenes and no more robot.
If I get extended fight scenes, then I will forgive the robot being deleted.
So I guess just more brutal punches against Apollo Creed, which I don't know if it needed more of that either.
Well, no, you don't. But he does know how to shoot a boxing scene. So I'd rather watch more angles or visual takes on that, not necessarily to watch Apollo Creed get the shit kicked out of him by Drago. But
I mean, he
I don't
really
know.
does. I don't know if there'd have to be a part where Apollo somehow gets the upper hand again.
Have you
Ooh,
guys seen
maybe.
the 30 for 30 about that fight?
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
How long is it? Is it like a 5-minute clip on YouTube?
Yeah, yep, pretty much. Yep, go everyone, whether you're listening at home or here on the podcast, go to YouTube, pause this podcast, go to YouTube, look up ESPN 30 for 30 Rocky 4 and watch it. And then watch the Angels in the Outfield one because that's good too. So, and then come back to the podcast.
I'm just. Let me guess. Stallone's interviewed in it, isn't he?
Nope.
Yep.
No, he's not.
Oh, he's not. Okay. Dang, that's seems lame.
I know. I think he was too much star power for them. He's got other things to do. He's got to go film Creed or whatever.
Yeah.
If you watch it, it will make sense.
All right. Fair enough. There we go. So that's news.
Oh, there's one more piece of news, Zach. How is it
Oh,
I'm the
no.
one bringing this up?
I
know-
think I just found it. There's a Ted Lasso season 2 release date.
I mean, there already was.
No,
It's
it's not
like
the same.
July 23rd. That was like several months ago. Anyway, no, the thing is that there's a trailer that dropped for He-Man, Masters of the Universe, Revelation, or whatever.
Yes, the Kevin Smith rebooted Netflix series, correct?
Yep, and a bunch of little crybaby men on the internet had a pissy fit about it. So,
Oh, tell me more, Corinne. Were they upset because things weren't exactly the way they remember them as a child?
yep. And I guess,
Oh.
I don't know, Tila or somebody is going to be it's a female character, princess or somebody who's going to be the main focus of the series. And He-Man is going to be like, I don't know, the Mad Max to her Furiosa or something. And so a bunch of guys were pissy about it.
But Corinne, that sounds like an awesome idea. Why on earth would anybody have any issue with that?
I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to bring it up because it will play into what I've been watching later.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I'm excited. You know what? I think that news sounds great. I probably am not going to watch the show because I'm not a He-Man inclined person, but I heard that Kevin Smith was working on that show, and it sucks that a bunch of crybabies are making a big deal out of things being changed because it doesn't fit their weird agenda. I don't know, but
I mean, it's
Right
got
on.
an excellent cast. I know Mark Hamill's playing Skeletor, Lena Headey's in it, a bunch of other people. So
wait.
I'm gonna watch this.
Mark Hamill's playing Skeletor?
Bro, you didn't see the trailer?
No, I haven't watched the trailer. That's why I didn't put it as part of the news.
Zach. I
I
don't
told you
even
I'm
like
not-
He-Man, and I'm excited for this thing.
I'm Okay, I'll watch this now. I want to see what Mark Hamill does with Skeletor. That sounds fucking fun.
He's good. I mean, he's Mark Hamill. It's going to sound good.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this. He's in a movie called The Last Jedi, which is a fantastic movie.
Damn straight it is. I had gotten a bunch of arguments with people over the weekend about it.
Were they the same people that are complaining about He-Man?
No, but it was part of the same discussion.
Okay.
They were complaining about the people complaining about He-Man.
Tell you what, Corinne, why don't we just like the things we like?
Here's my
that
hot
will
take.
also be part of my what I've been watching.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, yes, that is news.
Here's my hot
Brad,
take.
What were you gonna say?
Oh my god, you guys are. I'm just. I was gonna say that. 80s cartoons. There are wonderful 80s nostalgia, but they're not well written.
No,
so
not at all.
Dying on the Hill for the story of the original He-Man is pretty sad.
Yeah. Wasn't that... wait, did they do a He-Man for the Toys That Made Us? I can't remember the last couple episodes that they did.
I think they did. They had to.
Either way, isn't that show designed to sell toys much like Transformers and other fucking shit?
All 80s shows were designed to sell toys. That's
okay. Then so there's no...
You couldn't sell a toy without having a companion cartoon.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't want to hear the complaining and whining. They can adjust it whatever they want because it's going to be designed to sell toys at some point. So
I'm wondering where all these people were 20 years ago when they did the anime style animation grown up He-Man show. I think it was on Cartoon Network or something.
And it was something. Let me guess. It's something that nobody watched then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I have no idea. Maybe they've now just found out about the internet and now found a way to complain. I don't know. I have no fucking clue.
I think it had like one season, but it was kind of in the same style of what this is, but I don't know what the story was, but it looks the same.
Well, I hope that this thing gets a chance to breathe and whatnot and like develop and grow.
It's on Netflix. It'll be fine.
Well, you say that, but
it's already concluded to have only 3 seasons, so enjoy it while it lasts.
It's a good thing that Mystery Science Theater found a way to be its own monster and not have to deal with Netflix, because now I can just, join the Gizmoplex or something and do that. So, but anyway, guys.
I forgot I read something where about the strategy behind why Netflix cancels things so quickly, despite them being like ratings juggernauts.
Did it have something to do with production costs or?
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, like an NBC show, on network TV actually gets cheaper over time to make, because once you build the infrastructure, you can just keep making episodes. Everything gets streamlined as you go.
But that's why The Blacklist has been renewed for a 9th season. Boo!
But Netflix, something about their production is backwards, so it actually gets more expensive to make new seasons. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the fact that Netflix just throws money at my favorite auteurs to make things they want, but if that's interfering with them producing television shows, I'm more than happy for them to start splitting the difference and being reasonable with budgets, because I think that's kind of bullshit, to be honest. If you're going to greenlight a shit ton of projects and then just kick the can after one season, it's almost just like, why even bother if you're not even going to commit to at least 3 seasons to give them a chance? So
yeah, if the ratings go down at all, the other way around, ratings go down, your show's getting cheaper, so it doesn't matter as much. But ratings go down generally for most shows over time anyway. Yeah. So the fact that Netflix is get more expensive as they go, that's just
yeah. I'm sure I wonder if it makes sense to their quote unquote business model, which their business model has never really made sense to me, and I've tended not to question it, because if I'm going to Netflix, I'm going there for movies. I'm not necessarily going for television shows. So the television department is kind of irrelevant to my thought process, but it still seems like it's a fucking shame that they have the model the way they do, and it sets a lot of shows up for failure, because we don't have any more Glow. We don't have any more MST3K from them. And I mean, it seems like the only thing they're even going to bother to keep around is Stranger Things, because that is a money-making machine for them. So
Yeah, Stranger Things and Cobra Kai, I think, are their big
Which was an
shows in our wheel.
acquisition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but since that acquisition, they've made a whole 2 seasons under the Netflix banner. So,
Yeah.
um,
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I mean, like, I'm not opposed to like sitting down with their shows and giving them a chance, but like, I just like it's hard for me to get invested with a show these days because I'm just like I have no idea if this is gonna last. So why don't I just wait until it's over and then I just binge it then? So
yeah, totally.
yeah, they give me no reason to stay committed if they're gonna flip flop and flake out. So, that's why movies are cool because it's a 2-hour story. Anyway,
That's news.
that's news, and congratulations again, Adam, on your podcast deal. Wonderful times ahead. Val Newton story.
So, what are we getting on Blu-ray this week?
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
Well, I think we're getting a 4K. Oh wait, I think we're getting a 4K set of films, Brad, that you're going to enjoy. Or wait, no, you're not going to enjoy them. I'm going to enjoy them. You're going to get In the Line of Fire with Clint Eastwood in 4K for some reason. Of all the movies to be putting out in 4K, I did not think In the Line of Fire was going to be one to put out, but I do enjoy that film. It's a nice ripe dose of madness. But the new release, obviously, of the week is Godzilla vs. Kong. It's coming out to 4K. You get your standard version. You also get a pretty decent looking steelbook from Best Buy. It looks kind of cool. It's a downward angle shot, like a upright angle, low angle shot of Kong and Godzilla going head to head. And there's also a 3D version that you can pick up as well for all you 3D fans out there. There is a 4K version of Gattaca. So James will definitely be in line to pick that up, I'm sure. Paramount Classics is putting out a movie called Last Train from Gun Hill with Anthony Quinn and Kirk Douglas from 1959. And let's see, Parks and Recreation, the complete series, is coming to Blu-ray. So if you haven't picked up a copy of Parks and Rec for you to enjoy for all time and not worry about streaming, now you have the opportunity.
Warner Art have to do that.
Do it. Get more physical media. Don't have to rely on streaming.
Yeah, because the only series that isn't like a mini series, the only for real series that I own is The Good Place. So
Yeah.
I need to stock up on like all these favorite shows of mine.
Do you have physical copies of most of the BBC series you enjoy?
Oh shit, yeah. Well, I'm looking at them right now. Let's see, we got Sense and Sensibility, Persuasion, Pride and Prejudice. I mean, North and South, which that came in handy because that is not on streaming anymore. And some friends of mine wanted to watch it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to bring my copy because that's the only way we're gonna watch this thing.
It's not even on a BritBox?
I mean, maybe, but it's like I'm not paying for that. I already own it.
I paid for BritBox so I could start rewatching Jeremy Brett, Sherlock Holmes. So
Well, there you go. Maybe I have to steal your login.
I have
I
no
don't
problem.
know. Maybe it is on BritBox. I don't know. I don't have BritBox to look, so
I'll you know what? I'll look for it, and if I like give up searching, I'll just give you my login, and you can check for yourself.
okay. I mean, it should be pretty easy to find, north and south.
Yeah, but I might get lazy between the N and the O and the R and the T. Anthony Quinn movie along with Charles Bronson called Guns for San Sebastian from 1968 is coming to you from Warner Archive. Also from Warner Archive, you can get the 1945 MGM Technicolor extravaganza Ziegfeld Follies. Features such luminous stars as Fred Astaire, Lucille Ball, Judy Garland, Gene Kelly, Red Skelton, and many more. You can also get the movie Voyagers in 4K. This features Ty Sheridan, Lily Rose Depp. It's a sci-fi movie where all the young people are like repressed or something. I can't remember what the trailer told me it was. And there is a movie called The Being from 1983 coming to you courtesy of Code Red Entertainment. And looks like that's about it. Unless you count some reissues of The Office seasons 1 through all of them coming out.
I do.
I don't know. What, you do?
Yeah, I mean, It's still
the
it's more expensive to do it that way. But if you're one of those people who's like, I don't like the last couple seasons where Michael Scott's not there, you can get a set without that. So
okay, cool, right on.
Blu-ray. And if Ryan was here, he'd also tell you about the Target exclusive steelbook for Sicario in 4K with Emily Blunt on the cover. So
I did not see that here on Blu-ray.com. So
yeah, I'm looking at it. There's also a Best Buy one that has like a
oh, here we go.
different.
Oh, that
artwork.
is a pretty fucking cool steelbook. Oh shit,
Yeah,
that's
there's,
fucking dope.
there's another one that's like a skull with like 2 handguns and some snakes at Best Buy. So,
Oh,
but yeah, I'm sure Ryan's all for the Emily Blunt cover one at Target.
well, yeah. Oh, that's fucking dope, man.
Yeah, it looks like each of the Office Blu-ray is separate as $17.99 at Best Buy. So, or you can get the whole complete series for $120.
Yeah. Either way, you've got
That'll do
options.
someday.
Yeah, looks like that's about it, guys. Might have more fun next week. I don't know.
Cool. Let's find out what we've been watching.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
Corinne, what have you been watching?
Oh, quite a bit. Because I haven't been on in a while. So, did I talk about Pom Poko at all when I was on last time? I don't think I did.
What's
Yeah.
Pom Poko?
So, Pom Poko is a Studio Ghibli film. Hayao Miyazaki was not involved as far as I know. He definitely didn't direct it. He might have been like a producer or something, but I don't think he was. But I mean, I want to say there's like 4 or 5 Studio Ghibli films I still haven't seen, and I'm trying to like get all those, knock them all out so I can be like, I've seen every Studio Ghibli film. So I watched Pom Poko, and it is okay. It's really weird. So the premise is that it's about, they're called tanukis, which is, over here we call them like Japanese raccoons or something, but they're like their own thing. They're not actually raccoons. But then of course the dub that I was watching called them raccoons the whole time, and it just pissed me off because I'm like, they're not raccoons. They're like a completely different species. They're not even related. So the idea is that these group of tanuki live in this forest that's being taken over by the humans and being developed into this like giant suburb. And so they're losing their home and they're trying to fight back. And tanuki in Japanese folklore have the ability to shapeshift. And so they use this ability to try to trick the humans and sabotage the humans and everything like that. So the way that it's set up, though, is very weird because it's almost like documentary. Like they voice it over and then they intercut different perspectives, like different voiceover. And I don't know how to explain it without just like, oh, you have to just see it. And then they switch back and forth between this more realistic art style for the tanuki, which looks very real to life, and then this more cartoonish art style for the tanuki, which looks like like a Mickey Mouse sort of character. And they're very cute. And yeah, it's very on the nose. But it's obviously, it has a good message. It's just very on the nose about it. So
It looks like a Studio Ghibli version of Country Bear Jamboree with one of these covers that I'm seeing. He's got a guitar in his hand.
sure. Yeah, they have a lot of scenes of the tanuki partying, and like every time they do something, they have to have a party for it.
Is this as fun as it looks, Corinne?
It's fine. I honestly didn't really like it that much. I don't know if I just wasn't in the right mindset for it, and I just kind of went in thinking, oh, this is going to be like this cute little Studio Ghibli film, and it's going to be, I don't know, like more in the vein of Ponyo or something, just more cute and whimsical, and it kind of starts out differently than it shifts the tone a lot because it switches from this very cute thing and that they're like having a party and all this stuff to, oh my gosh, these people are dying, and like the tanuki straight up murder 3 people at one point. This is 20 minutes into the film. They murder people. It is crazy. And
So they're
yeah.
like Ewoks?
yeah, kind of.
Ooh, shoot! I want to watch this now.
You might like it.
They're like Mario and Mario Brothers 3.
Sure, whatever that means.
Oh, youngins.
That's the one where he has the raccoon tail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Studio Ghibli, so I mean, it's like better quality animation than you get in a lot of places, but I don't know if I would necessarily recommend it. If it sounds weird enough for you to check out that you're like, oh, this sounds curious, like whatever. Watch it if you want, I don't care.
Wikipedia describes it as a comedy drama. What?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Because like I said, it switches tone a lot.
Oh, so it's like a melodrama. Gotcha.
Yeah, kind of.
Right on.
So it's on HBO Max if anybody wants to watch it. And then I also watched the new episodes of Kim's Convenience, which is on Netflix. So I think we had maybe talked about this a little bit, but so Kim's Convenience, it's a TV show about a convenience store. It's set in Canada, made by a Canadian television company up there, and then Netflix just syndicates it. So I think whatever channel it is, they made season 5 and then season 6, and then they were potentially going to get a season 7, but then they canceled it like right after they had filmed season 6. And I think anyway, maybe they didn't get a season 6. I don't remember the whole story. But anyway, a lot of the actors came out recently and said that they were not pleased with how the writer's room treated some of the characters, and said that there needed to be better representation of Asian people in the writer's room, and particularly the woman who plays the mom. Sorry, I can't remember her name. But she said that she felt very typecast as this kind of stereotypical Asian woman or something along those lines, that she didn't feel like the writers gave her storylines that were really valued. So anyway, but the actual episodes for season 5 that just got uploaded to Netflix are really good so far. Still very light and happy. There are definitely a couple of times where they get into this like liar revealed trope, and they actually kind of subvert it because they get away with whatever, disguise or shenanigans that they're trying to pull off. Like there's an episode where Mr. and Mrs. Kim, they sneak onto this fancy golf court or tennis court, which is like, one of those that, if you live in this neighborhood, you're the only ones who can use this court. And so they pretend like they live in the neighborhood when people start asking them about it. And they even like tell like, oh yeah, that's our house. And it's this like very fancy place. And they keep going with this couple that they met at the tennis court. And they're like, oh yeah, well, we'll come by your house. And it's like, oh crap. Like, and so you keep thinking they're going to get caught, and they actually don't. So it was kind of like, oh, I'm so glad like we didn't have to deal with that fallout, because it's just like, cringe. But it's been pretty good. And I think the son, I can't remember any of the actors' names, I'm sorry. But the guy who plays the son is going to be in that Shang-Chi movie. He's going to be the lead. And they wrote him out of the first couple episodes of the show by saying he's at like a business school in LA. So I'm like, oh, I bet that's when they were filming Shang-Chi. So, yeah, this has been pretty good. If anybody wants to check out the entire show, Kim's Convenience, it's on Netflix. I highly recommend it. It's just a very, very good show.
Cool. Sounds like fun.
Yeah. So then yesterday, it was a whole deal.
Oh no, you watched The Blacklist again, didn't you?
No, actually though, Zach, I've been hearing online that they're going to do this big like revelation episode, and I'm like, oh shit, I might have to jump back on this bandwagon for like one more episode just to see if they deliver on all the answers that they're promising. So that might be next week, because it's supposed to be on Wednesday. So I'll keep you in the loop on that.
Will the revelation be that it was a gold list this entire time?
Yeah, hopefully so.
Or a green list? Or a blue one? Or a red one? Hey, because one of the characters' name is Red. I know that about the show.
I think that's actually the second time that we've made a red list joke on this show.
And it never stops being funny to me, and I'll just laugh alone in my house.
Oh, good. So anyway, I was bringing up the, almost said Skeletor trailer, the Masters of the Universe trailer, because when I watched it, there's like this voiceover at the very beginning, and I was like, I recognize that voice. That's Susan Eisenberg. She voices Wonder Woman in the Justice League animated series. And so I was like, oh, shoot, like, I bet that's her. So I check her IMDb page. And I'm like, it is Susan Eisenberg. And so I'm scrolling a little bit, and I see there's this thing that says Justice League versus the Fatal Five. And it was only a couple years ago. And I'm like, what is this movie? I need to check this out. And so, sure enough, they made this Justice League movie that is within the continuity of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited TV shows. And for some reason, I just now found out about this. So I'm like, holy shit. Dropped everything I was doing, found the movie and watched it. It was pretty good. I still think it was just kind of like meh. Like, the premise was meh as far as like a movie goes. Like, it would have been a really good like 2-part episode within the series. But they call it like Justice League versus the Fatal Five, and it actually focuses a lot more on these few characters that we haven't really seen before and we see again within the context of the show. But it's basically an origin story for Jessica Cruz, who's one of the Green Lanterns, and just kind of her kind of overcoming her PTSD trauma from this very bad situation that she was in before she got her powers. And the Fatal Five, who are these villains from the 31st century, come back from the past or from the future, and they have to break out some of their own from this prison. And so it's like a whole thing. The voice actors for Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman all came back. And so that's really nice. It's in the same art style as the show. It's like updated a tiny bit, but I mean, all the like line work is exactly the same. So it's honestly perfect. It feels very much like a Justice League thing, but it doesn't feel like cinematic enough to be a movie. But I'm like, I still don't care, because this was just so nice to have this like last little morsel of the DC animated universe that I'm used to. So I watched that. So that was yesterday. Then I went over to my friend Jerry's house, and he and another friend of mine and I, we've all been going through like the Batman movies. I've talked about it on here. You know, we went through the whole Nolan trilogy, and then we were watching Batman v Superman, which I've seen clips of, but I'd never actually sat down and watched the whole thing. And I gotta tell you guys, I hated the movie. It pissed me off so much. I think it's mostly because like I have just been rewatching like Superman the Animated Series, Justice League, like all this stuff. And so I'm like, yeah, these iterations of the characters that are in Batman v Superman are just so like in left field from what you see in the animated series. I was just like, I can't get into this Superman. Like, he's too pouty, and he's like hand wringing all the time of like, oh, should I really save these people? And I'm like, no, real Superman don't have time to do that. He got to go out and save people. He ain't got time for all this bullshit. So, and then of course Lex Luthor wasn't quite right, and Batman murders people, which I know like Jerry made a case for it, and I'm like, okay, of the three, he's like the least worst, so I'll get on board with Batman just because Ben Affleck is a really good Batman. But don't appreciate him murdering people. But yeah, I can't get on board with this version of Superman. I can't get on board with this version of Lex Luthor. And the plot is just so convoluted, and it was... Anyway, I was just very frustrated. And Jerry and our friend Brett, who they loved it, and they were just... talking about it, and Brett even made the point of like, oh, so we love it and you hate it, and now you know how we feel about The Last Jedi, because you love The Last Jedi and we hate what they did to Luke Skywalker, and here you hate what they did to Superman. So it's like, yes, we have come full circle. But I don't know, did you guys like Batman v Superman? Am I alone in this?
So when it first came out, I was in the midst. Well, one, I was still drinking and smoking weed, so I was high off my gob. But I made cases for the movie being a fun mess, and I really was trying to get on the Ben Affleck Batman bandwagon because I liked what he was doing with the character. Do I agree with the whole Batman murdering people thing? I mean, as Brad and I talked about on Ballyhoo, there's history of Batman being rather careless and, just flat out letting people die in the comics, let alone his earliest origins where he's got guns and whatnot. So it's not.
I mean, he murders people in the Tim Burton movies. Like he hands a bomb to that one guy. He like shoots at a clown or something in Batman Returns. So yeah, he murders people in those movies too. But I'm not ride or die for those movies either.
Well, I think any writer that exists in the comic sphere is going to have their own iteration of the character that they are trying to portray out there. So it's not. Those things don't tend to bother me. I tend to just try to go along with the vision. The more that I went back to Batman v Superman, though, when it was released, the less and less I liked it. It just kept diving off a cliff for me because the Martha line alone bothers me because it's just. I tried making a defense for it the first time, and now I'm just like I just can't put up with it. I think that movie had much more potential going into it, and I stand by the idea that the DCEU should have been the dramatic opera contrast to Marvel's more rock and roll approach to things, but it just didn't pan out the way it needed to. The R-rated cut, the Ultimate Edition, is
and that's
better.
What we watched. Yeah,
it's better, but not by much for me. The Jimmy Olsen thing means nothing to me. Like it's like okay, it's Jimmy Olsen. Okay, that doesn't do anything for the story you're telling, really. And I don't know. It's supposed to be the crux of what you end up getting with Justice League, and I think it's a poor setup for that. So,
which is interesting because Jerry felt the opposite. His argument was that as people revisit this more, they will like it more, and that all these people who hated on it the first time will, if they give it a second chance, they'll like it. And I don't know one way or the other, but. It's interesting that you say that your experience was the opposite of that. The more you watched it, the more you disliked it.
Because I'm looking at it from like my viewpoint on it has always usually comes from filmmaker first and storyteller first and fans second. And what I saw was not as enjoyable as the Marvel Fair coming out that year. Or I look at it from a very practical standpoint. Like Marvel did the premise of smashing a bunch of heroes together in a solo outing better with Captain America Civil War, which is basically Avengers 2.5. And I can't get on board with that. I mean, but I will say that knowing what I knew about it after all the times that I had seen it and then going into the Justice League Snyder cut, I still don't agree with the Martha angle, but there were redemptive elements justifying Snyder's vision. I think when it's all said and done, by the time I'm on the other side of it, I just don't know if I can revisit that universe in the same way. And also, like, knowing that it's going to be incomplete no matter what, like, it doesn't really give me an opportunity to... It's like a television show. It doesn't give me an opportunity to go beyond it and think more about it because I'm like, okay, well, it's over now. Like, it's already been set up that this wasn't feasible enough for Warner Brothers to continue, so I don't see myself investing any more time in that particular series. But I own a copy of the movie. I got it for pretty cheap when I worked at the thrift store, so it's still on my shelf, and I make as much capital out of that title as I can because I do think that the title Batman v Superman is a silly title, but I'm glad Jerry likes it. I mean, I'm glad the movie has fans. So,
Brad, what about you? Do you like BVS?
Oh, is there time for me? Okay, cool. No, I was fine with it. I'm not in a place in my life anymore where there's a definitive version of a character for me. Like I accept. If the life cycles of these properties are going to be extended, you got to be open to interpretation. So, there's been many iterations of Batman in the comics, and this is just another one. Snyder had to find his angle on like a different way to present these characters, and he did this, and it's fine. I think the ultimate cut is better because it fills in the gaps of some of the things he was going for. But you know, I don't mind seeing a take on a Superman who, like, in the real world, you know, the burden of having to hear, you know, that many voices crying out for help, and like being like the expectations on a person like that, you know, I don't think that person would be a happy-go-lucky guy like he was created. I think it would just weigh on him so much that it would just like make your life miserable, being expected to save everyone all the time. So
they gave
anyway, can we?
Yeah,
I'll tell you about my last thing that I watched, because I did a like Justice League triple header yesterday between Justice League versus the Fatal Five, and then Batman v Superman, and then I was like, came home and I was like, I need to get the taste of this terrible movie out of my mouth. So I decided to watch Justice League Crisis on Two Earths, which is another DC animated movie. I found out, like, I'd seen clips before, but I found out more about it when I was researching Justice League versus the Fatal Five, that Crisis on Two Earths was supposed to be, it was originally written as this kind of bridge between the Justice League animated series and the Justice League Unlimited animated series. And like, if you were familiar with the two shows, like, you would see like exactly where that bridging tissue is in the movie, but the art style is different, the voice actors are different, so it's technically like it's in a completely different universe, but you can see like different little things that pop up of like, oh, that explains like that, like why they did that in Justice League Unlimited and things of that nature. And it was pretty good. I think I liked it a little bit better than Justice League versus the Fatal Five, which is kind of weird considering that like I said, the voice cast was completely different from what I was used to. But I was really impressed with Wonder Woman. I thought the choreography for her fight scenes was really, really good. There's a scene where she's fighting Superwoman, who's like her evil equivalent. The whole premise of the movie is that the Justice League is recruited by Lex Luthor from an alternate dimension where he's a good guy and he's the leader of his Justice League, to come over and fight this crime syndicate who are all the evil counterparts of the Justice League members that we're familiar with. So you got like Ultraman is like the evil Superman, you got Owlman is the evil Batman, and all that stuff. And then, you know, there's like this doomsday situation where Owlman was to destroy the whole multiverse or whatever. It's pretty fun. I would recommend it. If you have HBO Max, go check it out. Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. It is kind of fun to see Lex Luthor being a good guy. I will say that.
Cool.
And also Wade Wilson, a.k.a. Deathstroke, a.k.a. Slade, is the president in the alternate universe. Which I was like, what? Deathstroke is the president.
So if Snyder had adapted it, that would make Joe Manganiello president.
Sure.
Ooh. I like the idea of President Joe Manganiello.
And James Woods plays Owlman. Okay, I know James Woods, like, as a human being, is someone that a lot of us disagree with, but as a voice actor, he does a really good job in this movie. And Mark Harmon, I want to say he plays Superman. Maybe he's played Batman. No, William Baldwin plays Batman. Mark Harmon plays Superman. So it's a lot of those people who were like kind of famous in 2010, I think, when the movie came out. You know, you read them today and you're like, Mark Harmon, I vaguely know who that is. Oh yeah, that's that guy from NCIS or whatever. Oh, he was in Freaky Friday with Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that's all I've been watching.
So anyway, back to the state of DC. Just kidding.
Now, here's my take.
If they make more movies within the DC animated universe, like within that Justice League JLU continuity, I would totally be on board with that. Or just anything. Like, I know, like, some of the more recent movies, I need to check some of them out, like, once they're on HBO Max.
You know, it'd be really cool if they rebooted the whole entire DC universe from the perspective of the 30s. when Superman first emerged as a Depression era hero, and then they introduced Batman in that same similar way, and just make an Art Deco version of it for me. I'd like that.
Zach, what did you watch this week?
Oh, well, a bunch of 30s and 40s things. So get ready for old timey talk now to counterbalance this DC and Marvel stuff.
All right, Brad, we won't interject. We're just going to let him talk himself to death.
Oh, you guys want to be here for 7 hours? Okay, that's fine. Number one.
He gets blue in the face and passes out. Got it.
I can pass out without having to talk, guys. It's easy. I was gone last week, so at Film Club last week we saw I Know Where I'm Going, which is by Powell and Pressburger, The Archers. I had never seen this before. It's the first time. Concerned a woman going off to marry this rich guy, hanging out on the Isle of Mull, and while she's waiting to be connected with this wealthy old guy, she meets Roger Livesey, who plays Torquil, and the impetus of her is trying to get to this person she's supposed to marry, but she's starting to slowly fall for this guy. But this guy has a curse attached to his head. It's a very wonderful, adorable film. Powell and Pressburger showing a lot of the matters of the head versus the heart in a very beautiful way. And it has Roger Livesey has kind of become like this new guy I want to keep exploring because A Matter of Life and Death blew me the hell away, and he's one of my favorite parts of that movie. So it's a very beautiful film. And then one of the reasons I was gone last week is because I accidentally scheduled a Ballyhoo recording with friend of the podcast, John Ekstrom, to talk about W.C. Fields' It's a Gift. So I watched that for a Ballyhoo episode that'll be coming up. It's a W.C. Fields joint, and I wanted to kind of get myself reacquainted with Fields. So I rewatched a movie called International House. This movie is not... This movie's kind of a tough pill to swallow in a lot of respects because of certain racial connotations that are attached to it in the way Asian people are represented in the film. But having said that, there are intriguing things to watch in terms of how they're handling basically Grand Hotel, but for comedians only. Because you have Burns and Allen in this film, you have a W.C. Fields, you had Stoopnagel and Bud, and you have Bela Lugosi playing a Russian businessman who's trying to. The whole plot is that all these people are gathering in a hotel to see a radio television kind of invention being made by a guy who is unfortunately a white guy dressed up as an Asian character. So it's all kinds of unfortunate and problematic and just terrible. But there are funny moments in the movie to watch, specifically with W.C. Fields' character. He plays a professor who's on a aviation journey, and his plane lands square in the middle of this hotel. So it's a grand set piece to watch, like the amount of money Paramount pumped into that movie just to show a plane flying into the middle of a hotel lobby is kind of amazing. And there's an element of it. One of the characters... if we're talking about our love plot, one of the characters is kind of like an anemic, kind of like wimpy little worm, and he doesn't. And his girlfriend is just like, we can't get married because you're always getting sick, which is kind of a weird reason not to marry somebody. I don't fucking understand it. But regardless, he mistakenly gets diagnosed with something contagious, and so they actually put up a quarantine inside of this hotel that they're at. And so I'm like, oh, this is giving me shades of the last year. And the whole affair is kind of madcap insanity, but it's only like an hour and 8 minutes. Sorry, so you're kind of only there for a little bit, so you kind of just get it all crammed into one little session there. It's quite mad, but it's enjoyable. If you can get past the problematic elements of the film, which are very difficult, and it's within your comfort level, you might enjoy the comedy of W.C. Fields and Burns and Allen permeating through. It's not the best Burns and Allen movie either, so it's kind of hard to like fully recommend it, but it's an intriguing little beast. And then I rewatched A Night at the Opera and The Day at the Races with the Marx Brothers. I've been trying to kind of go back to their later MGM and final films because I go through those Paramount movies a bunch. Night at the Opera still works pretty well for me. I've been learning more about how that movie was butchered after its initial release because they wanted to take out any mention of the movie being set in Italy for the first third of the movie because they didn't want to offend Italians when releasing the film. But the fact that Chico Marx exists as a character means that it was going to offend Italy no matter what. So I can start seeing now where the studio started cutting out references to things by the jumps in the cut of the film, and it's pretty fascinating to watch. And then Day of the Races for me takes a kind of a dive off the cliff after Night at the Opera. It's funny, but it's long. It stretches out a little too much. It's way more focused on anything but having Marx Brothers fun in certain places, and it has a dance number at the end that is problematic in certain areas, but it doesn't it's not a bad remark on the Marx Brothers. It's more of just the way MGM was setting up plots for them. It's very difficult to watch it because you can tell that you would know off the hand that the Marx Brothers wouldn't be approving of anything offensive, so nobody was seeing it as offensive at that point. But still a very interesting watch, and both films have their high points. The scene with them in the doctor's office in Day at the Races, where they're washing their hands thoroughly, and basically through the scale of events in which Groucho, Harpo, and Chico are unfolding the madness. By the very end of the scene, the whole operating room is flooded from the fire alarm lights, and a horse rides through the operation room. So it's the definition of insanity, and it is interesting and fascinating to watch and delightful in places. And then I rewatched Night of the Hunter. Still a solid film. Mitchum is a terrifying motherfucker. And then the last thing that I watched was at this week's Secret History of Hollywood Film Club, we watched Black Narcissus, which is another Powell and Pressburger film. This is a film that I think James would like. It's been a while since I've seen it, and I wanted to do a ballyhoo on it at some point because it's a movie that directly connects to films that attempt to tackle the logic and the heavy burden that comes with devotion to religious dogma. The story concerns a group of nuns who start working at a mission up in the tall mountains, and things start unwinding there for them due to their vows. Whether it's Deborah Kerr's character kind of like reminiscing and reflecting on her lost love upon taking her vows, and Kathleen Byron's character slowly unwinding and questioning her vow of chastity for the Mr. Dean character, and it becomes like a psychological roller coaster by the back half of the movie. It's still a glorious piece of film. If you ever want to look at Technicolor at its finest, Black Narcissus is kind of like the definition of it, alongside of A Matter of Life and Death. Like, it is a beautiful looking movie on Blu-ray. Yeah. And Brad, you were asking earlier why, like about like the stories that can be told, like from something like Secret History of Hollywood. Like, the beauty of that film club and what has been put together with that is that they're exposing you to films that have been largely forgotten unless they're within just the Criterion community or a certain film fan community. So that's the importance of that particular element of what they're doing. And it's something that I do encourage people to check out just from that alone. So yeah.
I was doing a bit earlier, so
I know you were.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I was standing up for my fandoms just as everybody else stands up for theirs. And yeah, that's all I watched this week.
Brad,
what did you watch?
Yeah, what did I watch? Not a lot. So lucky for you guys. I rewatched Action USA, which is a movie from 1989 that I saw at the Alamo one night, where it's pretty bad, like acting and story, about
Is
a girl who
is this the one that came out at the Alamo a few months back?
Yeah, I got like a special Alamo recommends
Oh.
re-release.
Oh, okay, I thought I was confusing it with a canon movie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean it could definitely, it's definitely up there with canon movies. Yeah, there's this woman who is witness to a crime, and there's a bunch of like a crime boss and his lackeys chasing her, trying to like locate some storage locker that has something in it, and then the FBI gets involved and protects her, and they go throughout Texas trying to get away from him, and along the way there's just like an insane amount of car crash stunts and hanging out of a helicopter, all done in 1989 by real people in not on a green screen. That's pretty impressive. Like that's the reason to watch it is the stunt work that was done on a low budget in that time. So yeah, I rewatched that, and I went to the drive-in. So I went to the drive-in just to go to the drive-in. I didn't really want to see Sonic the Hedgehog again, but it was fine. It was fun. It flew by a lot faster than the first time I saw it last year. And then The Quiet Place Part 2 went by even faster. It's such a short movie.
It was interesting, Brad, because I saw that like the same weekend I saw Cruella, and while I thought like Cruella should have been like 10 or 15 minutes shorter, I felt like A Quiet Place 2 could have been 10 or 15 minutes longer. Like it ended, and I was like, wait, what the hell? Like it just ended. Like it could have gone on another 10 minutes.
Yeah, it could have done like another half hour of that.
Because Krasinski is a confident director who understands you don't need 2 hours to tell a good story.
Yeah, it's a tight, like it's everything that is in there that needs to be there. So definitely.
How was it watching it at a drive-in though, with that atmosphere I mentioned earlier?
I was gonna say, like it's a darkly lit film, so sometimes it's hard to see from that far away. But the sound design through the basically mono into stereo speakers in the car. There's a part where there's a low bass rumble. I forget what part of the movie it is, but it was an odd sensation, and I thought the car was going to shake apart. Like it wasn't like pounding vibrations, it was just like a low fine vibration, but it was so echoey.
It just it just kind of made you jump a little bit, like
it wasn't just shaking the car, like the speakers were in the car front doors, but it felt like it reverberated through every inch of the car.
Oof.
Like every inch of plastic, every inch of leather.
That's a nice little touch there.
It was so bizarre. It was like nothing I'd ever heard before.
Oof.
It was so deep and so bassy, but yeah, so that was cool. And then I've just been rewatching SNL on Hulu. I'm on season 39 right now. They're in a rebuilding year because Sudeikis, Hader, and Armisen just left. So, and they added 4 white guys to the cast and 1 woman. And there's a fun opening bit where Kerry Washington does the cold open, and she has to play Michelle Obama and Beyonce. And there's like a voiceover where she has to leave the room because Keenan won't do Oprah. So she also has to play Oprah. And so she leaves the room, and there's like a little text on screen, and then Jay Farrow and Taron Killam are Obama and his handler. And so they just kind of sit down and talk amongst themselves while this Don Pardo like does a description of like, because we hired 5 dudes and there's no black woman in the cast. We apologize to Kerry Washington for making her do this. And when she goes to do Beyonce, she's like, I'm coming out in a bathrobe. I got no other costumes back here. So I was like, yeah, I guess, Leslie Jones gets added after this season. But yeah, the 3 of those guys only end up lasting the 1 season. And Beck Bennett and Kyle Mooney get to go on, and Noel Wells doesn't make it. So it's
Yeah.
interesting to see who, makes it through each season on SNL. I think it's fascinating to watch. Like why? What? It's such a hectic work schedule. I wonder what the pressure does to these people.
I'm wondering. I wonder how SNL operates today comparison to what it did 20 years ago, because there's such a. It seems like there's a big expectation and yet no expectation out of the show at this point within the last 5 years. It just seems like they're on a weird autopilot.
Yeah, it's a well-oiled machine. Like, I watched that first season, like I said, and that first episode, that pilot, is just so off the cuff. It's so long. It's so much more variety. The show today is definitely made to, like, it's easily cut up into snippets for YouTube.
Yeah.
It's definitely changed a lot. And even in the 90s, like, the 90s had a lot of sketches about game shows or television shows, and the cast members were definitely building characters to later go on to make movies of those characters.
Yeah.
And I actually like the recent season, like 18 through 20. 21 is kind of like 20 and 21, because the pandemic, they have the stay-at-home stuff, so they didn't really get to, like, do their normal thing. But I think it also helped them to only craft, like, a lot of the sketches are kind of just people sitting in a room talking, because they had to be socially distant in the sketches and wear masks and stuff with the crew. So they got away from the traditional sketches. So, but yeah, the 90s, a lot of, like, here's a funny version of a show we made up, like, they're all television show based. And a lot of the newer stuff is very like about a premise more than a story. So, and then also with, the Sandberg shorts, like, there's people who've taken it over since then, but, there's more of a pre-produced element to it than there was before.
I feel like that's what they've got to go for now, because it always feels weird to me that a variety show has lasted this long into the 21st century, because it just seems like a concept that doesn't appeal to people on a must-watch, must-tune-in basis. If it's anything, it's going to work more on Netflix or Hulu, where the audience that wants it will find it, or you just go onto YouTube and watch the clips. So it's almost like the SNL isn't must-watch TV the way it used to be. So it's
I don't think that's even the goal of the show, really. Like, it's there, but I think SNL's main focus is that it's a talent farm. Like, you mine your talent. Like, the writers get to work out ideas there. Up and coming comedians get to perform. They get to move on to, if they do well, they get to move on into movies, and that feeds the machine. And
feels like it's different from what, like, it, because, like, when they were those first 5 seasons, you can tell that, like, with the exception of Chevy Chase, the goal is to produce, like, a variety show that hadn't been seen at that point. And now, yes, you're right, it has become that talent farm.
Yeah.
It's interesting to think about.
Yeah. It was funny, though. I did see, when I was going through a couple of the, like, I think 36 or 37, they still had, like, the Muppets coming on and doing, like, sing-alongs and things. So it hasn't strayed too far from, there's actually a lot of creative, like, I like when they bring back, like, past cast members, even though they're not the host, they'll be a surprise in an episode. Stuff like that.
Wasn't there a recent sketch with the Muppets? Those I forget the names of which ones, but it's like the 2 old guys who were, like, the critics. Because it was when
Statler and Waldorf were on SNL recently.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago or something.
It was when Keegan Michael Key was hosting.
Yeah.
And he and
Kenan Thompson.
Yeah, Kenan Thompson. They were, like, bouncer or security guards or whatever at a theater.
Yeah, I
Because
think
the old guys kept like chiming in, and they were like, "Hey, you need to knock that off."
and then Keegan finally like went up to the balcony and just started punching him out, and it was like I think Kyle Mooney and Beck Bennett are doing the puppeteering of the puppets. So,
Yeah, that
but
sounds right.
but
Or at
the way
least
they
the voices.
yeah, yeah, definitely Beck Bennett's one of them, but I forget who the other one. It might have been. Oh, no, it was Mikey Day actually. Yeah, but like the way they perform, like they look so like sad and pathetic, and they even switch out the eyes to black eyes
Oh,
after they've been punched out. It's just like yeah, so sad, but it's
Oh.
funny at the same time. So
that's hilarious. I'll have
yeah,
to check that
they're
out.
on as recently as that. Yeah, I think the one I saw was Jason Segel because he just done the Muppets.
Mhm.
So they all came in and did that. So yeah. But yeah, I'm getting pretty close to catching up to modern times on that show, and I'll eventually go back and do seasons 2 through 5,
Sweet.
and then the early 80s black hole
Oh, yeah.
years,
Yeah, that's those are rough watches.
the non-Lorne Michaels years. Which
Yeah, it's. I
curious
mean, like
about.
there's stuff to watch, but it's just rough because they're in a weird. One, you don't have Lauren there, but two, it's just like they're in a huge rebuilding mode because they like basically dumped everybody apart from like any lingering crew. So, and then you get Eddie and Joe Piscopo in there, and then it starts molding itself more back into the SNL we remember from the 90s. So,
Yeah, that's what I watched
sweet.
this week on Real Nerds Podcast. We saw In the Heights. Corinne, what did you think of In the Heights?
Overall, I really liked it. I will say it took me a bit to really get into the movie. I'd say about maybe a third of the way through, there's like this big number at a swimming pool. And that was about where I was like, yeah, I'm like on board with this movie. But the first, like before that, the first third, I was like, oh, where's this going? What's going on exactly? And I felt like the opening number wasn't as dynamic as it could have been. So maybe that's why it was like, yeah, I guess I was expecting a little something different than what I got. But there is a really good number about halfway through that I just started like crying, and then the ending was like awesome. So it's a really good movie, and I recommend people go see it for sure.
Zach, what did you think of In the Heights?
I think that if you don't like this movie, you have no heart and you need to go find one immediately because it's fucking wonderful and beautiful. I had a lot of fun watching this. The John Chu is really starting to grow on me as a filmmaker to keep watching, because In the Heights brings back a flourish to movie musicals that I kind of wish was more present when people try to do them. There's a heightened elegance to it, but this movie is not afraid of the roots that it's seeping itself in with the creation that Lin-Manuel Miranda and his writing collaborator put into it initially on Broadway. This movie has a heart and a story to tell about a community that doesn't get any exposure, but putting aside the social elements of it, which are extremely important, like this is like a just solid, like nice story about following your dreams. Like, and that's a kind of a nice movie to see coming out of a year of desolation and despair. And also Jimmy Smits. We need more Jimmy Smits in our lives. And I think this movie gave us plenty of Jimmy Smits. So I'm totally down for that. So yeah, please go see this movie.
Yeah,
Brad?
I liked it. Like Corinne, there was that thing where, like when I watch Shakespeare, it takes me, a good 10, 15 minutes to kind of settle into the language of it. So I had that, there's a point where I was thinking like, I feel like out of place with it. But in the end, I enjoyed it. I think it's creative. It does have heart. It was a little less surreal than I expected. I think something like La La Land was a little more surreal, but the effects of what they pulled off that was surreal was pretty impressive. And yeah, I had a hard time following like to what end the movie was chasing. But I think it wrapped up nicely. So, a lot of time it felt like a hangout movie to me. So,
which is fucking cool.
yeah. So here's the trailer for In the Heights.
Let me just listen to my block. It's quiet. Usually the one train's up there screeching.
There's so much stuff going on. Just got me thinking about all the people I care about the most. There's a breeze off the Hudson. And just when you think you're sick of living here, the memory floods in. The morning light off the fire escapes. The nights in Bennett Park blasting Big Pun tapes. It's a story of a block that was disappearing once upon a time in a faraway land called Washington Heights. Who's gonna notice we're gone? Say it so it doesn't disappear.
Washington Heights!
Look who's home! Bad changes happening on the block since you've been at school. When it came to dreams, we had to keep scraping by.
Ice cold piragua.
It's silly when we get into these crazy hypotheticals. You really want some bread, then go ahead, create a set of goals.
I pick a business school and pay the entrance fee. And maybe if you're lucky, you'll stay friends with me.
They used to say, if you work hard, you live by the rules, the things will come, and those things will heal you. I'm not gonna sit here and give you some fairy tale.
Ignore anyone who doubts you.
Cause this place, this is it.
1, 2, 3.
I just wanna see the whole world through our eyes. Let's go!
Go show them who we are.
Today's all we got, so we cannot stop. This is our block!
This is the moment when you do better than me. Because you can see a future that I can't.
Sonny, you're late. You know you love me?
We can pay off the debts we owe. We can tell everyone we know. We are not powerless. We are powerful.
And we'll get the dough, and once we get going, we're never gonna.
Yeah, so In the Heights is about Navi, who runs a bodega and has aspirations of, I believe, taking up his father's recently hurricane-embattled
beachside bar, yeah, like a beachside bar, yeah.
In
El Sueñito.
Yeah, that's his dream. Is El Sueñito is to revive that bar in the Dominican Republic, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to leave the country, and that is going to leave a hole in the social fabric of the Washington Heights area, where already a number of businesses have fled, and the salon is currently in the process of doing that. And what's her name?
Jimmy Smits, Rosario's he sells it to pay for his daughter's college.
To go, to keep attending Stanford and.
Yeah, and there's Vanessa. She's an aspiring fashion designer who can't seem to get any attention for her goals. And Corey Hawkins' character, I forget his name. He runs the dispatch.
Oh, Benny the dispatcher, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He just seems to want Jimmy Smith's daughter. Just I think his goal is Nina.
Mm-hmm.
I think his goal was just to have her be in his life.
He's in the Heights for life, but she thinks she needs to stay in the Heights for life. But she learns over the course of the movie to find something to chase that is of that importance, coming in the form of Usnavi's cousin. What was his name? Sonny. Yeah, Sonny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, her bit at the very beginning was probably the most compelling for me. Like her whole song about how she doesn't feel like she belongs at Stanford, and then she comes back and she doesn't feel like she belongs here either, and like so much has changed and everything, and like that I think was maybe the first time I was like, okay, like I'm kind of digging what you're putting out here, movie. And then by the time they got to the pool scene, I was totally on board.
It's weird that she feels like a ton has changed when it seems like, at most she could have been away without ever visiting for holidays is 4 years,
Well, it sounds like she just went to Stanford. I got the impression that it was her freshman year. Like
That's
she
what I
had just
thought.
gone there.
Yeah, so it's why I'm confused. Is like when she comes back, she's like, "Oh, everything's so different." Like, I can't imagine.
Well, if you've been in a place for a really long time, then yeah, even a slight change is going to feel like a big one.
And also the environment itself is rapidly changing because of different businesses being outbought by something else that's more elegant. Like the whole idea of that dry cleaner, which charges $9 for a shirt, is like a boutique that's out competing a local business that was built from the ground up within a community. And so there is change going on.
Yeah, the storefronts are different, but I mean, like, it's not like her friends have changed that much, it's like I hadn't seen you guys for a year because of the pandemic,
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of haven't.
Well, there are changes. There are subtle things you see in people. Like, and you were saying that this is a hangout movie, and I think that the kind of the beauty of that is you get to settle into that, and the changes she does observe and the things that she knows that remain the same that she observes are allowed to flourish and kind of like unfold over the period of the film. So like you're enveloped in their lives. So
yeah, I really liked her arc of, I guess spoiler warning if you didn't know already, but just over the course of the movie, how she, she kind of went to Stanford because like that's what everybody expected her to do. And she was like the one who made it out, sort of a thing. And so she feels so much pressure of like, everybody else wanted her to go to Stanford. And then she got there and she's like, I hate it. Like, I don't feel like I have a community here. I feel so isolated. And then over the course of the movie, she figures out like, okay, I can go back, but I need to do it for like my own reason. And that her reason that she finds with Sunny is that she has like a cause and she wants to go back so she can learn how to help that cause move forward.
Yeah, which is a lovely little lesson to learn within the scope of the film. That
it's like she had to learn how to do it for herself.
Yeah, and I was wondering. I didn't look into this, and I guess I should have. But the original musical started in 2005, and then finally went to Broadway in 2008. So I'm wondering if the Dreamer aspect of the piece was more of a later addition as the movie was being developed by first a company we don't need to talk about anymore, and then eventually getting picked up by Warner Brothers. So I'm curious if that ended up enveloping into it or something. I would want to look into the history of it, but
yeah, I was surprised. Like that part of the story was actually not as big as I expected.
Yeah, the trailer uses it as a selling point and a marketing hook, but I appreciate that the movie doesn't solely wrap itself around it, because it does give us a time to really fall in love with the different residents of this area of Washington Heights, because it's not it feels personal. Like by the end of 2.5 hours or close to 2.5 hours, you feel like you're part of that world, and it's a really magical feeling that gets put into you. I mean, like, we haven't even talked about Abuela, who is like the heart of the film in a lot of respects. Because
oh my gosh, yeah, that her whole song where she is about to die and then eventually dies, like that's where I started crying, because just the way that was filmed and the emotion behind it, and then like when she even says like, should I stay or should I go, and she gives that look and she starts walking up the stairs, and I was just like, oh, bawling over there on my couch, like, oh my gosh, Claudia, like, no.
It takes a lot of guts to film a musical sequence like that about accepting your death by walking into the bright light the way they film it, and having it through that train tunnel, like the entrance to a subway it's just beautiful. I was listening
Like it's almost like you get
lyrics.
to know her like right as she's dying, like all these things that, like, yeah, she talked about it a little bit earlier in the movie of like her mom and coming from Cuba and all that, but then it's like when you really feel like you get to know her and her story, and then she just dies, you're like, oh my gosh, like such emotional whiplash, and you're just crying.
She brings the contextual resonance that's needed to understand why the struggles that people in the Heights go through is residual from having come to America at that point and being prejudiced against and being belittled and trampled down. And to hear her story unfold in that subway car, and she's mentioning history throughout her song. Like, it's really, really like astounding to watch her perform it and to listen to the words that she's speaking. Like, it's stunning. I
really like that line about how she misses the stars, like in something about like how in Washington Heights you can't see the stars, you can barely see the street lamps or something.
Yeah.
But then there's work in Nueva York.
Yeah. It's so lovely. And Brad, I think you were talking about earlier, like kind of like there's like some innovative flourishes with the dance numbers and stuff. Like I was taken aback by one of the final dance numbers where they're floating on top, or they're like walking upside of the building like they're Spider-Man. And
I thought of that too. I was like, somebody saw Spider-Verse.
but like it took me off guard for a minute, but I think that the way
I was waiting for it because I saw that shot in the trailer and I was like, all right, I know they walk up the side of a building in one of these dance numbers, so when are we going to get to it? And it was awesome.
Yeah, it was, because I thought that it might be a little too digitally, because there are a lot of digital flourishes in this movie that it's not that they're noticeable, but like they are clearly bridges into another shot that are totally fine and acceptable. This one, though, had a good like blend of whatever VFX they're putting into it mixed with what looks to be some form of practical set for them to pull off a lot of those maneuvers. It's very, very stunning to look at. And the scene about the lottery, the number about the lottery ticket where they're doing the dance in the community pool is like a highlight. Like, that is a huge highlight number. It's really cool. And like, I've still haven't watched the Hamilton thing on Disney Plus, so this was like the first exposure I've had to the Lin-Manuel Miranda style of kind of like these rap musicals, like, so to speak. And I was like, I love the rhythm of it. Like it beats as loud as the heart of a city itself. Like, it's really cool to like watch it unfold that way.
Brad, was there a scene that stood out to you?
Not like a scene, but just kind of like
musical number.
I was gonna say, like, overall, I thought the music was good. There's not like something that I can hum to myself, like back in the car or anything, after I leave. Like, nothing that memorable, but I thought overall, like, everything was like catchy and fun to listen to. And yeah, the numbers are all choreographed really well. I was just kind of lamenting, like, I kind of wish there was more consistent use of like walking on the side of the building, or like at one point before they go to the pool, they have the little like white sketch drawings as they're explaining what they're talking about. There's just long stretches where stuff like that doesn't happen. I'm just like, oh, there's a couple parts where Vanessa like will look up into the sky and like see her fabric samples that she's trying to pick out. That was a cool scene. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I just kind of wish that was a consistent thing throughout. It is also kind of a long musical.
Yeah,
it's a little bit over 2 hours.
Yeah, it's like 2:23, I think, by the very end. But yeah, I agree. It did. Just looking at the runtime, because like I said, I watched it at home, and like I want to say about maybe that third or halfway mark, I was like, wow, like we've still got a lot left here. But then by the time it was over, I was like, shit, I want to watch that again.
Yeah.
By then you're just so immersed in the story, and especially the way that they end up revealing like, oh, this El Sueñito was, he wasn't actually in the Dominican Republic, and all those scenes of like the kids and him older, on the beach, they weren't like real. Like it was actually in the shop. It wasn't on a beach that whole time.
Yeah.
So that was like a nice little revelation. And then you're like, oh crap, like now I want to watch it again because now I know how it all ends. So the movie will feel a little different this time.
I think that was my favorite scene, was the reveal that the beach was the bodega. But I was primed for it because at one point he references that the girl he's talking to is his daughter. So I'm like, oh, at some point I guess he does hook up with Vanessa and they live happily ever after. So
right, but I figured it was going to be in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, like I was sitting there going like, well, he's either this is all a fantasy, and he's making it up, or he's really there, and it ends up being a kind of a blend of both. So
there's a good indicator for it, even at the very beginning of the movie, where he tells them to say the name of Washington Heights so it doesn't disappear. From that notion on, I was like, okay, one of two things is going to happen here. Either there's going to be something major that shifts the course of that particular square block, or they're staying there the entire time. But it's still a nice thought and theme to permeate the film to where the experience itself carries you into it.
Once I knew that was his daughter, I was expecting her name at the end to be Claudia after Abuela. And then I think it was Iris or something, but I was like, damn it, missed opportunity there. You should have named your daughter after your abuela.
Maybe it could have been a little too obvious. You never know. But I do agree that there is like longer stretches in this film that do, I don't say they drag, but like they go at the pace they want to. But I think that the more I go back to this, the less that's going to bother me. So I'm perfectly comfortable with giving a half a star down the line to it. But also, Brad, we didn't talk about the greatest plot point in this movie, which is the battle between the shaved ice guy and the Mr. Softy truck. This is cinema's great return to clashes between commerce-minded individuals, in which Lin-Manuel Miranda is a simple shaved ice guy who has served this community faithfully, but then the industriousness of a Mr. Softy truck tries to invade his fucking territory, and that, I will tell you right now, shaved ice guy is not fucking having it.
Piragua guy.
Yeah.
Corinne, did you watch past the credits?
I didn't.
Oh, yeah, there's a post-credit scene.
Oh, shit.
That resolves the feud.
It's the greatest. It's the greatest post-credit sequence I've ever seen, and this is coming from a person who has enjoyed several Marvel post-credit scenes. This is fantastic.
You expect it in a Marvel movie. I wouldn't expect it in a musical. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch this.
I
wonder. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say it's like a 5-minute scene too. It's not even just like a little stinger. It's like a good 5-minute scene.
No, it's not that long. It's like 2 minutes.
It felt like to me.
But I do wonder if the reason the movie kind of feels longer is because like that, I feel like that first half, like before the blackout, really focuses a lot more on Nina and her story. And like Nina and Benny I feel like they get more focus in the first half. And then in the second half, we get a lot more with Usnavi and Vanessa. And I think that might be why, is because it's almost like you've got two different storylines going on and you're trying to like connect everything together. And then like all of a sudden, like, in the middle of this like giant stretch of Usnavi and Vanessa, all of a sudden we got to drop in a number about Nina and Benny when they're dancing on the wall and stuff. So that maybe that's why it feels a little long. And
well, overall you have like, those are the main ones, but you still got you got the Tasty Freeze and Piragua guy. They have a little bit of a story. They've got the Salon has their own story. Abuela has their own story. Jimmy Smits has his own story.
Right, but I'm talking about like of the four main characters or the two.
Oh, for sure. But I'm just saying, like, there's also that, and then all those other people get their own like screen time. So
right,
yeah, like the quad is already bloated enough. Like you could make a movie out of just either one of those. So,
but I mean, as far as just cinematically, and I haven't seen the stage version, but it didn't feel like, oh, they took this stage play, and then they just kind of filmed it on location. Like, no, this felt like a cinematic treat. Like, this felt very theatrical, and they really made use of the space and the different shots and the pacing of the musical numbers and everything. And it's a different feel. And sometimes I feel like Phantom of the Opera, the Joel Schumacher version, could stray into that territory of like, well, we have this space and we're going to use it, but we're not going to make it feel like a movie. We're going to make it feel more like a staged play sort of deal. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to take advantage of what the medium of movie making allows for.
Yeah, they didn't build it around what they did on stage. They utilized the actual heights to represent that culture in that space.
Which is something that you should ideally do in order to translate the property down to cinema, because it's not theater's its own different beast, and you have to adapt it accordingly. Otherwise, I like the Producers remake from 2005, but that is decidedly stage bound, and it's kind of a problem with that movie. But it's not doesn't make the movie bad, but it definitely, like, there's a difference between what that movie does on a visual aesthetic and what this one does, and I do appreciate that they didn't try to move past the boundaries that they had to, or try to accommodate something that wasn't inherent to their art form. So,
good movie. I'll see it again. What
Hell
about you
yeah.
guys?
Oh yeah, I want to go back to the theater with this after I've got some free time, because that's another thing. I think that people should watch this movie in a theater, and ideally, like, I mean, like, I know that crowds are an issue but like, if you've got a couple of people in the theater with you and everybody's having a fun time, like, that's like the kind of like that's the kind of environment I'd like to watch this in. Because Brad and I saw this at an empty screening. We were the only ones in there at 9:30 at night, and
On a Sunday, people have to work
on
the
a
next day,
Sunday.
obviously.
Yeah, like that's the kicker of it. But like, I'd love to try to go to this during a weekend and like see it with a group of people and just kind of like revel in the fact of like watching a show of that caliber and that elegance. Like the way Chu directs it, like, it is really like, it is an experience that you should watch in a movie theater, because it is built for the big screen. It's not built for your television or HBO Max, really. I mean, it's fine if you watch it there, and I totally understand that, but the experience.
I had a good time.
Yeah. Again, I'm not discounting that, but like, when you watch it on that big screen, like, it appropriately is designed to be seen that way, and pays off for that element, because it doesn't condense its worldview. It's very expansive. It's wide. When you watch it on a big screen, that pays off. It's almost like I'd like to watch this on an IMAX screen, to be honest. So
I know they were having IMAX showings of it. I think they still are.
I'll have to check those out. Like, because I did enjoy watching something like La La Land in IMAX too, where it's like a musical really should have that vibe to it and be as big and bold as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But
which it does seem like, I know we're not in that vein of like old Hollywood where we get movie musicals all the time, at least outside of like animation, because animation is kind of its own thing. But I am liking this trend of like, every other year we get a live action movie musical, and I'm down for that. Like, I want to see more movie musicals.
I want them to keep the trend going, and I'd love to start seeing Hollywood try to conceptualize their own musicals that aren't like, it's almost like that we have a plethora of Broadway adaptations, and I have no reason to knock that. In fact, I enjoy watching them try to adapt them each time. But I would love to see filmmakers in Hollywood or wherever like start conceptualizing musicals that are designed for the screen as an original screen concept, because that's an art that definitely doesn't exist anymore. Trying to conceptualize musicals solely for the film. Mel Brooks is kind of one of the last people to do it, and that was always in the guise of comedy, so it was never really taken as a sincere musical. But that would be cool. But I'd like to start seeing more of that experience. I got like a really big thrill out of watching this. Like, it's exciting to watch. So
I mean, I slightly disagree with you. I'm obviously down for, original movie musicals, but I would love to see adaptations of like the stuff that's on Broadway right now because not everybody can go to Broadway. Not everybody has like, the tours coming through their city. So it's like, yeah, if you can make a movie version of it and do it in a way that is both true to the spirit of the original stage musical, but also utilizes the medium of film in a really good way and at the same time make it accessible to people everywhere, like that's honestly a good thing. Like that's how I got into Phantom of the Opera was because of the Joel Schumacher movie.
Yeah. No, yeah, again, I'm not knocking Broadway adaptations. I'm glad that they exist. I'm excited for Wicked whenever that comes out.
Yeah,
But
I want them to do Hades Town because I've heard good things, but obviously there's no movie of it yet.
there's musicals that they do on off Broadway that I'd love to see them put out. Like there's adaptations of a Lost Marx Brothers musical that I'm thinking like, you could try to see if you could readapt that for the screen and see how that played out. It would be met with a lot of contention, but you could give it a shot. But yeah, I mean, either way, I think that there's room for these things to be built out and to be explored, so long as they are. I think that having the creators of the musicals on board as creatives, the way they had Miranda involved, is essential because they will ensure an authenticity to the experience of that production, and that respects both art forms.
So what are we seeing next week?
Well, Ryan's not here, so he's not here to make the call. We have a couple options. Luca is releasing on Disney Plus. However,
is it going to be in the theaters too?
It doesn't look like it. I just went to the website to check, and it says exclusively on Disney Plus. So,
I mean, I'm gonna watch it because I'm a Pixar fan.
Yeah.
Although I'm not vibing with it. Like I see the trailers, and I'm like, I'm not. This premise feels really flimsy, but whatever. I'll give it a shot.
It's always like a thing with Pixar trailers, though. They have a hard time selling the movie, but then you watch the movie and then it tears your soul apart and builds it back up.
Yeah, you're just like, why did I ever question this? This is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. They pull this trick every time. We've got to stop being fooled by it.
But anyway, I, however, believe that given the option, if we have a theater choice, we should take it to support getting people back into theaters.
Agreed.
So the Sparks Brothers, Edgar Wright's documentary on a band I've never heard of until he started talking about it.
I would be down with that.
It is in limited release, but it is at the Landmark Theaters and Alamo, as far as I know. It'll probably get a couple of releases in AMC probably. So I think that's what we should do. But, our choices are fluid, and apparently Ryan doesn't want to see F9, so we might have to fill some weeks with stuff. So
but
we could return to both.
But guys, they're going to go to space at last. Why are we ignoring this opportunity to see this through to the end?
There's no rock in this one, so immediately interest took a nosedive.
Look, I understand that, but you guys have to understand that for years these guys have been pushing to go to space. They've been saying it without saying it, and now at last they're going to go to space, and we're going to ignore this opportunity?
What if the trailer's a lie?
What was that?
What if the trailers are a lie and they don't really actually get to go to space? You'll feel cheated.
Well, then I will walk out immediately the moment I find out it's a cheat. I don't care if it's in the first 5 minutes, but.
So yeah, I might push for Cruella maybe to make a resurgence. I know two of us have seen it already, but like I said,
I still haven't seen it. I'd love to go see it in the theater.
Yeah, we can't do any film explosion fillers because that'll offset the planned 500 episodes. So. July 4th weekend, the big thing is the Forever Purge, which I don't think any of us are into either. So
I need to catch up on the other purges. How many have we had?
We might end up with Cruella or Luca filling in later anyway. So I'm going to push for the Sparks Brothers this week.
Sweet. I'd be down with that choice. Edgar Wright's always a solid choice in our books.
Yeah, I heard he is inventive with the documentary genre, and we don't do a lot of documentaries as our film of the week. So
No. When was the last time we did one? Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Yeah.
I can tell you, like, looking through that list for the, like, anniversary special, you guys don't see a lot of movies that I see as your movie of the week, because a lot of the movies that are on my Film Explosion lists, either they're like superhero movies or some other big blockbuster, or it's like you never see it, never heard of it, like Juliet Naked or whatever, you know, Makoto Shinkai or anything like that's not going to be movie of the week.
No, but like, you know, in doing the list, I was amazed by how many things I would solidly put on a top 100 list. Like we just mentioned Edgar Wright. There is at least one of his movies on that list, and it has absolutely every right to be there.
Yeah, it's always been a perceived, like, what would the world be watching that week more than, you know, what we're going to see. So,
well, apparently you guys watch a lot of horror, a lot of superhero movies, and a lot of like action comedies, and not like a lot of rom-coms or animated films or whatever.
Well, Corinne, I see what you're saying, and I understand your point, but I will put myself under the bus while also defending some choices here. It's either this or we watch movies like Mank every week. So what's your call?
I'm definitely not watching Mank again, so Luca it is.
No, I want to see the Sparks Brothers doc. It's been getting good buzz out of Sundance. Edgar Wright's been supporting the push back to theaters. I think it's more than reasonable to honor that request with a screening of his movie.
yeah. Also, if you can't make it to the theater, it's pretty likely that Alamo On Demand will probably have it too. So if you want to stream it at home,
Yeah, there's options to do it. And if all else fails, Raiders of the Lost Ark has been playing up a storm in retrospect. So maybe we could celebrate the 40th anniversary of Raiders.
we already did Raiders as a leading episode. So
Oh, you did? Oh, that's right.
I think it's
Never
the
mind.
35 probably. So
Oh, yeah. Never mind.
no, the 30th. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I did see that in the list. Never mind. Well, did you guys ever do Back to the Future? Because that's playing at one or two of the theaters.
We didn't, but that's kind of all over. It's been released many times. I'd rather do something new. So,
But it mentions Jack Benny in it, Brad. Why can't we?
I mean, if we didn't do it for the 2015 year, then there's no point.
It's not happening. You got to wait till the 50th anniversary.
I mean, I put it on my Film Explosion that year, and people were like, "What are you doing? You can't put all three of those movies on your Film Explosion list."
I agree with you. I was very tempted because I couldn't remember if you had disqualified this as a possibility, but one of our main reviews one week was North by Northwest, and I was tempted to put it on my 100, but I tried to be polite.
Yeah. We're good.
Very easy.
I think Sparks Brothers is fine, and hopefully Ryan agrees. So,
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. Until next time,
Bye.
Bye.
keep watching movies.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Real Nerds Podcast. Real Nerds Podcast is a production of Nebulous Visions Multimedia. Thank you to Sparks Mandrill and Plan 9 Studios for our kick-ass theme song. Also, if you're in the Denver area and you're looking for a cool place to see movies, we see them at the Alamo Draft House in Littleton and now also in Sloan's Lake. Thank you to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics for supplying us with all our comic needs, especially you, Andrew. You know who you are. And a big shout out to James's mom. I'm giving you an electronic hug that you can feel through the airwaves. Thanks for listening, and have a nice day.